The loss of many metal legends, loud reunions and major comebacks, and announcements that give us hope for the metal future. Metal is life and well, so let's see what kept it going this whole year. Here you go. The year of thrash metal. If 2024 was a year of a heavy metal comeback, 2025 can definitely be labeled as the year of thrash metal, as simply gazillion bands either released or at least announced their new albums, from superstars and returning veterans to absolutely new blood in the world of thrash. And if you ask me, at least in my opinion, all of the top tier bands dropped top tier albums. It all started with the Teutonic thrash metal legends Destructions, who gave us Birth of Malice in the beginning of the year, and their lifelong friends Sodom also followed a couple of months after that, dropping Arsonist, an incredible record, which sadly can actually become the last one in their career. After that, Testament released an incredible Parabellum, and Dark Angel returned with the first new music in over 30 years and dropped their new album titled Extinction Level Event. Okay, that one actually received rather mixed feelings. Iconic Canadian Sacrifice and Sweet's Mazro came back to life after many years of silence. Heathen released their first ever live album, and the legendary German powerhouse Creator announced their brand new album for next year, with the singles which have been released so far being simply incredible. But the biggest and the most pleasant surprise of all, at least for me, was the return of the legendary prog thrashers Coroner. And in my opinion, their album Dissonance Theory, which you can see behind me, is definitely one of the best albums of this year. And not just in thrash. On the more extreme side of thrash, the mighty crossover stalwarts Agnostic Front returned with their 13th album, Echoes in Eternity. Iconic Colombian ultra metal veterans Reencarnacion released Axis Mundi. British death thrashers Cancer brought Inverted World, and German black thrash veterans Disaster came with Kill All Idols. And that's all in just 1 year!
Yeah, unbelievable.
But of course, sadly, as we all know, while some legends return with incredible new music and are already building plans for the future, the others announced their departure. And first of all, as we all know, the one and only Megadeth will release their final studio album next year and kick off their farewell tour in 2026, of which we will talk a lot next year. So I'm not gonna go into the details of it here. But in addition to that, one of the very first extreme metal bands of continental Europe, Italian blackened thrashers Necrodeath, released an album Ore Mortis this year, which they have already announced will be their final one. And which of course is a pretty big hit for all of the fans of that side of thrash. But the craziest thing is that while legends do their legendary stuff, the new blood in thrash metal actually doesn't really lag behind. Swedish Sorcator, Hostilia and Disery, American Interceptor, Void and Warbringer, Mexicans Phantom, Colombians Curse, Brazilian Violator, Canadians Zero Tolerance and Postmortem from Argentina all released incredible thrash metal albums, definitely worthy of attention of all of the fans of the genre. And even more young thrash metal bands have already announced new albums coming out next year, which actually does give us hope that this second life of thrash metal and an increased interest in the genre has just started in 2025. Here, those who are not new to the channel know that I usually ask you to subscribe to this channel, but this time it's gonna be different. This time I just want to thank each and every one of you for another year of metal mayhem and for this incredible heavy metal community that we're building together. And I promise you that I'll do everything I can for next year to be much louder and much more interesting. The year of comebacks. But if we're being honest, thrash metal was by far not the only gift 2025 has brought to all of us metalheads. And in addition to thrash, we got gazillion incredible albums, starting with the most extreme subgenres of metal and new releases from Swiss Malphas, Belgian Enthroned, Greek Acherontas, and French Mutilation, to a brand new album from the masters of melodic death metal, Arch Enemy, who apparently released their last studio album with their now ex-vocalist Alyssa Whiteglass in the band. And overall, 2025 was super rich on incredible metal albums, like for example Igor's Amen and many others, which I don't really think there is any point in me listing in this video, simply because it's not going to be fair, because I'm not going to be able to list all of them. And the only one I kinda want to point out in this video is a brand new album by Halloween. Because you know what, I don't care what anyone says, at least to me, Giants and Monsters is possibly the best power metal album we've seen in over a decade, at the very least. But at the same time, this year was rich not only for brand new albums, but also for comebacks, reunions, and long overdue returns. Like for example, the very first post-reunion album of Dream Theater with their legendary drummer Mike Portnoy behind the kit, on which many fans believed the band was finally able to click back into its natural shape, making Parasomnia one of the most meaningful comebacks of 2025. Candlemass brought back their iconic vocalist Messiah Marcolin for a very special reunion show, which at first they said for sure will be just the only one. But after the success of that one, well, now they are not really against reuniting with Messiah Marcolin sometime again in the future, which I'm more than sure will happen in the years to come. And Mudvayne releasing their brand new song in 16 years, which of course is a huge gift to all of the fans of the band. But the biggest surprise of all for many fans of classic hard rock was of course something that none of us expected: the reunion of the original Alice Cooper band, who were able to not just reunite but also release a brand new studio album, something that felt completely impossible just years ago, with Alice Cooper, Michael Bruce, Dennis Dunaway and Neil Smith reunited in the studio after nearly 50 years, which by itself sounds like something straight out of Spinal Tap. And by the way, talking of which, the legendary rock documentary Spinal Tap has gotten its sequel 41 years after the original release. And although at first many fans thought that Spinal Tap does not really need a sequel, well, in the light of the latest news, I guess everyone is just very happy that the boys were able to do that one last time. Stonehenge. So yeah, 2025 was much more than just about brand new albums, and I'm actually more than sure that we will be enjoying the beginnings that we saw this year for many years to come. The album of the year. But with all that talk about us not caring about albums, well, let's be honest here, we actually do, and most of us metalheads actually still do listen to music in terms of albums. So without any further ado, I'm more than happy to announce the winner of the Metal Album of the Year, as voted by you, Metal Pilgrims. But before that, I want to thank each and every one of you, because the truth is I did not expect this type of hype around this voting, as this year we've gotten 4 times as many votes submitted compared to the previous year in the first week! Perfect! Making it a very fierce competition. But nevertheless, I'm more than happy to announce that the best metal album of 2025 as voted by you, Metal Pilgrims, is Parabellum by Testament. Every human will be replaced. And you know what the coolest thing is? It's the first time ever that the album which I personally selected as the best metal album of this year did not win. And I'm more than happy about that. Wow, incredible! And many of you guys could have noticed that this year we did not have our expert voting. And this was done on purpose because I'm actually trying to reformat this system to be able to take it to an absolutely new level next year, of which I'm more than sure you will hear very, very soon. But for now, thank you, each and every one, for submitting your votes this year. And here, a special shout out to all my patrons and all of the YouTube channel members. Guys, just know that it is thanks to your support and support of everyone who purchases Metal Pilgrim merch that I'm able to release these videos. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. And if any of you would like to become a patron, channel member, or purchase Metal Pilgrim merch, just know that you can do that via a link in the description to this video. And yes, I'm extremely thankful for every penny of your support.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
The end of an era for metal. One of the most defining moments of 2025 for heavy metal, and possibly one of the most important moments for metal in history, and I'm not exaggerating, was Back to the Beginning, the final concert by Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne held in Birmingham, the city which gave us metal. And at that time we all understood that it was a very special concert, but I guess we didn't understand how special it actually was. The show wasn't framed as a massive tour or a big victory lap. It was just one night held with the closest thousands of fans from around the world. A night of the original Black Sabbath members returning home, standing on the same ground that gave birth to heavy metal, and giving thanks to their loyal fans. And of course, the culmination of that night, in addition to gazillion performances by legendary bands, was Ozzy Osbourne's and the Black Sabbath's performance. And here's the thing, Ozzy's appearance on stage was extremely emotional and very honest. And the most important thing was that he wasn't really pretending to be indestructible anymore. Quite the opposite. He was as vulnerable as you can imagine, and just being there on that stage was the whole point for him. And the thing is that now, months later, we all actually know that all those legendary bands, including Metallica and Guns N' Roses, were actually ready to step in and perform instead of Ozzy until the very end of that night, and no one actually believed that he would be able to pull it off, but instead he gave his all that final night. And that alone was a true miracle for all of us. And then weeks later, the news broke that none of us wanted to hear. Ozzy Osbourne had passed away. And suddenly, the Back to the Beginning concert wasn't just a farewell concert. It was an end of an era for metal. And now, here's the thing, I spoke a lot about Ozzy's final days and about the Back to the Beginning concert on this show, so I'm not gonna go and recycle it once again. But I just want to say that even today, months later, and especially after realizing that Ozzy Osbourne knew exactly what he was doing, and the doctors told him that that final show may steal the remnants of his health, and nevertheless he still did it. And now I hope that no one thinks that he actually did it for money. But instead, he did that for his loyal fans from around the world. The ones who made him the legend that he was. And every time I think about it, and it's been months, but tears just come to my eyes. Partially from the realization that Ozzy did give his all that night, and partially from the whole fact that I do understand that there will be no one like Ozzy Osbourne in the future. And together with him, we lost a piece of what made metal so special. So thank you, legend, for the incredible legacy of heavy metal that it gave us all. And thank you for being one of the craziest rockers who ever walked this earth, the legendary Ozzy Osbourne.
Thank you.
A truly heavy year.
When all the stars are falling down.
2025 has become a truly heavy year for all of the fans of metal around the world. As unfortunately, in addition to the legendary Ozzy Osbourne, we've lost a lot of other legends. So let's try to remember at least some of them. Towards the end of the year, we unexpectedly lost the legendary Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley. And the news of Ace's passing were a true shock for many Kiss and rock and roll fans around the world, as just weeks before that Ace was actively preparing to tour with his solo band. But in addition to that, we also lost the Swedish death metal fathers, Thomas Lindberg from At the Gates and Fredrik Lindgren from Unleashed, the incredible drummer Guido Atomic Stave Richter from Sodom, the Fist vocalist Harry Hill, Ragnar Wahlqvist from the Swedish heavy metal fathers Heavy Load, and of course the legendary ex-Mastodon guitarist Brett Hintz, who sadly passed away just a month after announcing his departure from Mastodon and opening an absolutely new chapter of his career, still being full of creative force. John Lodge from Moody Blues and Jethro Tull founding guitarist Mick Abrahams, as well as the blues legend Chris Reed, all sadly passed away this year. In addition to that, we sadly lost two legends whom I'm more than sure every viewer of this channel is aware of, as it was this year in 2025 when we sadly lost the first Iron Maiden vocalist and frontman Paul Mario Day, the very first person on earth who sang the legendary Steve Harris' songs, which would eventually become our favorites just years after his departure from the band. And of course, in addition to that, this year we sadly lost a person who, back in the 1970s, has actually helped Judas Priest to climb to an absolutely new level. The legendary drummer Les Binks, the person who gave us an incredible gift of Stained Class, Killing Machine, and the album which changed everything, Unleashed in the East. So today, let's remember all of those metal legends whom we sadly lost in 2025. And once again, on behalf of the entire Metal Pilgrim community around the world, issue our condolences to the families of those ones. Metal Alive!
Waste my time.
But most importantly, 2025 became a year of major announcements for some massive tours in 2026, which of course gives us hope that metal will be alright. And first and foremost, two legends, thrashers Megadeth and melodic hard rockers Journey, announced their farewell tours, which will last for at least a couple of years. And well, on one hand, of course, it is a very bittersweet piece of news for all the fans of those two bands. But on the other, I for some weird reason am more than sure that it won't be so fast, and instead it will be a true celebration of the legacies of those two acts. In addition to that, we've already got news of two major comebacks in 2026, and both will be done by Canadian giants Triumph and Rush, with Triumph returning after 3 decades of silence, and Rush reuniting after the death of the legendary drummer Neil Peart, doing something which many Rush fans could not even have dreamt of a couple of years ago. The glam hair metal fans are getting ready to witness Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue and Sebastian Bach world tours, and on a more extreme part of a metal spectre, 3 mighty thrashers Testament, Overkill and Destruction will do a joint tour in the United States, while grindcore juggernauts Napalm Death will be joining forces with hardcore legends the Varukers and veteran thrashers Whiplash for the European tour next year as well. Most importantly, of course, next year will be a pretty massive one for all the fans of classic heavy metal, as in addition to simply gazillion tours announced by many bands, well, next year will be a pretty big one for all of the Iron Maiden fans, with Iron Maiden guitarist Adrian Smith kicking off the year with the tour for his Smith-Kotzen project together with Richie Kotzen, and Iron Maiden themselves, of course, continuing their massive Run for Your Lives tour for 2026, which, once again, is a tour like Iron Maiden have never done before. So if you are an Iron Maiden fan and you have a chance to witness it for yourself and you still haven't done so yet, well, definitely do it. And in addition to that, the legendary Metal Gods will return on the road with their Faith Keepers run. A tour which, at least for now, is giving us more questions than answers, as none of us actually know what kind of material will Judas Priest bring on the road with them next year. And of course, Metallica will continue their M72 run for like 4th year now, officially making it one of the longest tours in rock history. And all of those, of course, are just a fraction of incredible runs announced for 2026 already, with many more to come, I'm more than sure. Which, I don't know, at least to me, gives hope that metal will be alright. As I always say, that heavy metal lives in sweaty clubs and on festivals, and not online. And if all of those bands are still going out on the road, and if thousands of heavy metal maniacs around the globe still spend their money to go see their favorite acts live, that means that there is a future to it. Oh, and by the way, guys, one of the first episodes of 2026 will be talking about all of the most anticipated albums already announced for 2026. So definitely do not miss that one. But anyways, what will you personally remember this metal year for? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please don't forget to like it, comment under it, and of course subscribe to this channel if you still haven't done so. As well as joining our communities on Instagram, X, Threads, Facebook, Discord, and I mean, anywhere you can post content these days. And by the way, next week we'll also have a rather special metal digest, as we will be talking about what to expect from 2026. And there is a lot to talk about there. But for now, thank you so much for watching, guys, and will prevail. Slava Ukraini!